Craigslist is supposed to connect people, but sometimes it connects you to something you were never meant to meet. It was the perfect apartment deal until he moved in and realized he wasn't alone. It seemed like the perfect deal, a spacious one-bedroom apartment listed at half the usual rent. Jake, a college student, eagerly scheduled a viewing. The landlord was polite, though strangely insistent on him moving in immediately. The moment Jake stepped inside, he felt off. The place smelled faintly of bleach, but something else lingered, like decay. As he explored, he noticed scratches along the walls, almost like warnings. The landlord brushed it off as kids being kids. Jake moved in that night, but strange things began immediately. At 3 a.m., he heard footsteps pacing the apartment, even though he lived alone. Doors opened and closed by themselves. Shadows darted in the corners of his vision. One morning, Jake found an old newspaper clipping tucked under his door. Apartment tenant missing, last seen in Unit 3B. That was the apartment's previous occupant. Jake immediately moved out, but locals still whisper about the cursed Craigslist listing that lures tenants into something sinister. A free puppy seemed like a dream until she saw what was hiding in the crate. Emma loved animals, so when she saw a Craigslist ad offering a free puppy, she jumped at the chance. The seller insisted she pick it up at night, claiming it was safer that way. Arriving at a secluded parking lot, Emma found a small crate. She opened it and gasped. The puppy was alive, but the cage reeked of something rotten. Before she could react, the seller appeared silently from behind the trees, smiling unnervingly. Emma hurried back to her car, but the puppy refused to leave the crate. Inside her house, the dog's behavior became terrifying. It growled at empty corners, scratched frantically at walls, and occasionally, its eyes seemed human. When she researched the seller later, she discovered multiple missing person reports tied to the exact parking lot where she picked up the puppy. Emma gave the puppy away immediately, but sometimes she still hears scratching at her windows at night. He needed a roommate fast, but soon discovered he had invited a nightmare into his home. College senior, Mark needed a roommate fast. He found an ad for a cheap room in a quiet apartment. The landlord seemed eager, and the current roommate was polite, almost too polite. At first, everything seemed normal, but Mark noticed strange habits. The roommate would disappear for hours, never answer texts during the night, and had locked boxes scattered across the apartment. One evening, Mark returned from class to find the boxes open. Inside were items belonging to people he didn't know: IDs, clothing, and even photos. Panic surged as he realized the roommate was keeping souvenirs, possibly from victims. Mark moved out immediately. Police later discovered the roommate had a criminal record, including multiple disappearances in the city. Mark often wonders what would have happened if he hadn't left that apartment when he did. A great deal on a car, but the real passenger was something he couldn't see. Tom needed a car quickly and found a Craigslist ad for a great deal. The seller insisted on a late-night meetup in a dark parking lot. Tom hesitated, but agreed. The seller handed over the keys, then vanished into the shadows. The car seemed normal, but when Tom drove home, the rearview mirror reflected something impossible: a figure sitting silently in the back seat. even though he was alone. Every time he looked away, the figure disappeared. That night, he heard soft breathing in his apartment, and the car keys were gone from the table. Tom sold the car immediately the next day, but the story spread online. The same car had been listed multiple times, and each buyer reported being followed by an unseen passenger. If you enjoy true horror stories like this, like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification button to see more.